Pilates or stretch work or yoga. Some of you next to nothing. So we're sort of learning as we go. What I've got for you today is what we would call contemporary Pilates. So it's not sticking to the very, very traditional form. It's making it a little bit more functional and making it a little bit more, in my opinion, user-friendly. Okay? So we're always going to start standing because we take our focus and our prep first of all. I then moves down to the ground and we've got a selection of different blocks of work that we're going to be moving through. And then at the end we'll have a nice little stretch out. Might even give you a little bit of a lie down just to finish. Alright, which is nice on a Sunday, isn't it? Little Sunday vibes. Alright. So, to start with, I want you to just have your feet directly under your hips. So that'll be slightly different for everybody. And we just start by kind of tuning into how the body feels today. And the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do is do some hip shifts. So what I'd like to do, imagine that here you've got little light bulbs on the front of your pelvis. And I want you to tilt the pelvis forward, tuck your bum right the way under, shine those headlights right the way forward. And then do the same but to the back. So you're going to tilt the hips and stick your bum all the way out, allowing that big arch to appear through the lumbar. And I just want you to work through those two planes of movement for me, tilting all the way forward, tucking the tailbone underneath, and then lifting and tilting the hips to the back. Now already, you might already be sensing some slight tightness, maybe through the hip flexors if that's where you carry it, or maybe more like me, I always tend to feel it through the lumbar as I'm stretching there. Just do one more of those, tilting as far to the front as you can, tucking right underneath, and then tilting the opposite way and hips back. Now I want to settle into part B. So if we imagine that this is A, right at the front here, and then C is right at the back, find something that feels like B, which would be sort of your neutral spine, but in a slightly straightened position. From here, just rock forward and back. You're going to rock as far forward into the toes as you can, and then the same into the heels. Just becoming aware of that shift. Feel how the toes have to kind of squeeze to keep you upright. And in Pilates, it's a lot of these micro movements that are very important. I do feel a bit like we're auditioning for Michael Jackson videos when we do this though. Yeah. I'd be rubbish. I'd be out on audition one. So next time you sort of get into that centre point, I want you to settle in and acknowledge that that's kind of the centre of gravity for you. You don't feel like you're shifting into your toes, you don't feel like all the weight is grounded in the heels, but actually you're aware that you feel somewhere very centred. From here, bring your hands to the outside of your ribs and take a really deep breath in. Slowly let it release. And what I'm looking for here is an expansion of the ribs. I want you to feel like the ribs are lifting outward and up, and then closing back in again. Leave one hand wide and put the other one right on your belly. See if when you're lifting outward with the ribs, see if you can almost feel like a suction upwards with the diaphragm. You almost get like a hollowing effect just through there where the bottom of the rib cage is, and that hole there, almost like a little bit of a hollowing as the diaphragm sucks upwards. Now this form of breathing is really important. Go back to the two-hand hold on the ribs and see if you can expand out further. The reason that it's important is that when we're doing those really kind of slow, controlled movements, what we don't want to do is to be creating abdominal pressure. Because if we create abdominal pressure by breathing out and in into here, what we do is push force downwards. We don't want to do that, that becomes too stressful for the muscles through the pelvic floor. So what we'd like to do is be sucking inwards, upwards and outwards with the breath, because that's really helpful then for the internal control of the muscles. So, okay, place the hands down. And you might just need to recenter slightly. We're going to start with a little head tilt, so just side to side, closing the gap between your ears and your shoulders. We're thinking, first of all, areas that you hold some tension in. And next, upper back, shoulders, definitely one of those areas. Nice. Then drop the chin down towards your chest and take it right the way up towards the ceiling. For most of us, the drop down isn't really a stretch. We're often in that head down position. But actually, as we look up, you might become very aware of tension through the bottom of your neck going into the shoulders. Nice. And do sort of like a couple of seconds in each stretch hold. And then just turn that into a roll. So you're dropping the chin down, lifting and lowering all the way around to one direction, dropping down the other side, and then swapping to the other. So lifting around. Nice. And unlike in the 80s when we did this as part of an aerobic warm-up, the neck movements today are just about acknowledging tension points. Nice. When you come into that centre point, just leave things settled. What I'd like you to do is bring your arms all the way forward and then all the way back and out wide. So once they're forward, they're kind of stopping once they get to that shoulder height, arch through the back, and then lift right the way up and out with your arms. Once we've done a few of those, make it full-bodied. So as you come forward, really kind of crunch the body upwards and down. And as you lift out, I want you to take a tiny little back bend for me. Lifting in, and then opening out wide. And again, shoulders, big tension holder for most of us. So let's start to release. Beautiful. From there, take your hands so that the palms are together, thumbs are into the centre of the chest. Planting the feet and don't let the heels raise as you take a rotation side to side. So you're aiming to get that back elbow as far out to the back of the room as you can in each direction. Nice. It might feel a little bit sticky. That's alright. We're working through that sticky range. Keep that rotation, but I just want you to take your arms out wide, palms facing downward, shoulders nice and settled. Try not to make friends with the people next to you. That's very organised and coordinated, everybody. Beautiful. One last twist. Now I'm going to take you into a low lunge on one side, so just drop in all the way here. Nice. From there, you lift into a side stretch, and then all the way back down, kind of scoot to the toe. Lifting up and over. Don't worry which side you're doing, because we're going to do both anyway. All the way up and over. Whichever leg that you've got bent is the side that you're reaching towards. So lifting up and over. Perfect. And then simply swap that over to the other side for me, shifting the weight into the knee and releasing the arm up and over into the side bench stretch. So you might have the hand on the knee, you might be sort of resting the forearm on if you wish. Nice. One more on that side for me. Then come on up to standing. Try and find that sort of quite static position with the hips. Think about neutral, so what used to be half pelvic forward or back, think about point B. Simply just shift the weight slightly so that it's in your right leg for me. And then release the toe forward and then back. We're just starting a little bit of balance and stability as part of the breath. And the idea is you're sort of grazing the ground. Then if you can, just start to lift a little higher. So it becomes a little bit more muscular rather than passive. Nice. Keeping it in front of the body now as we shift side to side. Now about we swap legs and start with that forward and back shift to get yourself settled. Find the new centre of balance and gravity on that leg to take that little toe forward and back. Just as you sort of get used to it, we start to extend it out a little further forward and back. And you might find that one side you just felt like you got a little bit more balance and stability than the other. So again, just make a little note of that. It's all very valuable to know. Forward and back. And then keeping it in front of the body, side to side. How's that ankle feeling, the one that you've been stood on for quite a long time? You feel those little muscles through the side of the feet and the toes kind of keep on to do this. There's quite a lot of that mini muscle work going on. Perfect, last one. Nice, let's get a little bit more dynamic. Feet wider than hips, maybe with a slight turn out through the toes and the knees. And we're simply going to swing down, and as you lift up, I want you to come right up onto your toes. Because although what we do is quite balanced, quite controlled, we also need to wake everything up, and we need to create a little bit of heat. Nice, stay down in the squat this time, arms are back. And then stay down in the squat as you lift your arms forward and up. Push back and up. And then up. Try and marry it a little with your breath. Thinking wide ribs. Out. And in. Nice, then push up to the ceiling. And just stretch the arms out. And I'm going to advise you to come right to the back of your mats for me now. You need to create a little bit of room for movement forward. Nice and tall. And rise up with your arms. Nice. Just give me one more of those stretches. Beautiful. Then we begin to roll down. We start with the chin. Tuck it into the chest. Rolling and stacking the spine. Let your body hang. And then you reverse it. Hip bone up to the ceiling as you push, and then unstack the spine again all the way to the top. The head, chin, chest, that's the last thing to lift. And you go again, so dropping the chin. Rolling, let the weight of the head help you with that roll down. And then hips up, roll back up to the top. We're adding on as we get down this time. So when you land, you do this completely in your own time. Roll down, and you need to be able to get your hands on the floor. So this might mean adding a bend through the knees at this point to allow you to be on 4 points. From here, simply crawl forward to the front of your mat. Land with the hands underneath the shoulders and lower your body all the way down to the mat. Use the knees or the toes to push back up to the top. And then reverse that movement. So hips are high, crawling the hands back. And then don't rush as you get up. I want to see that nice spine roll all the way to the top. We drop in, we go again. So as I'm guiding, just know you don't have to stick with the timing and the rhythm that I'm saying. Work at a pace that feels good. Remember, knees can be used on the drop down into the push-up as well as on the way back up. We're going to do one more of those full roll downs. Sort of in your own time. The next time you get down, we're going to stay there. Take that nice roll. back up to the top, but this time we simply hold it. And remember, at any point, your option, knees could drop down if you need slightly less through the wrists or slightly less through the shoulders. Just push the hips high for it, rest there. Try and push your heels all the way down to the floor. Then push forward again, dropping in, chest is lowered all the way down to the floor. Push up when you're ready, knees or toes. And then high hips. So this acts as quite a nice little bit of a recovery stretch really. And it's nice high triangle calf stretch. We go again, push forward. Dropping all the way down. And all the way up. Nice, high hips. You're going to take that just one more time. Pushing forward when you're ready. Dropping all the way down. And all the way up. High hips. Perfect. So I'd like to shift now. The knees coming right underneath your hips. We take a little bit of the work out of the shoulders and out of the hands, but only a little bit. Now what I'd like you to do is raise your right leg. Now what will happen when you raise that right leg is the majority of us will automatically then just shift all the way to the opposite side. That is exactly what we're trying not to do. So if you think about your hips as a solid point, I don't want those hip bones to move at all. So if you move from the all fours position and raise the right leg up, there's actually no shift at all into the other hip. Try and stay as neutral as you possibly can. That means that a lot of the weight should feel like it's in your right hand. Because you've lost your right leg, yes? So that means that you've had to shift the weight in. Raise your left hand off the mat. Then replace the hands again without shifting the hip, and replace the knee back under the hip again. Exactly the same again. If we had little quivers, we were doing something right. Slide the right leg back again, shifting the weight into the hands. You can have it slightly tapped if you prefer. If you can lift it, let's lift it. And let me see the left hand stretch forward. Hand comes back down, knee comes back down, and let's do that one more time. Slide the right leg back, lifting it off the floor if you can, and stretching the left hand forward. I know if we're doing this right, if I can see lots of quivers, lots of little tiny shifts side to side in the body, I can see the hips fighting to stay neutral. It's exactly what I would like to see. Hand under the shoulders, replace with the knee, and let's play on the other side. So let's slide the left leg back, and feel that shift now into the left hand. Stable as we can, rising the right hand forward. Replace the hand, replace the knee. Beautiful, again. Like I said, the top thing to remember is not to let the weight go into the knee that's already on the floor. Try not to do too much of a shift. Reach the hand forward when you can. Bring it in, hand down. Knee down. Perfect. Let's take that one more time. Are we a little bit humbled by this very simple looking movement? Wobbles are good, wobbles are good. Nice, hand down. Knee down. And then just sink back into the knees and take some wrist rolls. We've been on them for a while, so these might feel just a little bit stiff in the wrists. We're going to roll onto our backs now. We're going to do a pulse-based movement that's called the 100. So you lie down, face whichever direction you think you can just see the clearest, whatever that is. We're going to start with the most simple format of this movement, and then I'm going to start to build in some more intense versions. So you're simply going to start by the head lifted just up off the floor, chin tucked into the chest for me, hands are forward with the palms facing down towards the floor, and they're hovered just above it. From here, we pulse. Now the pulse is relatively quick, and the focus is the chin staying into the chest. Somebody said in one of the classes this week, which of my chins do you want on my chest? All of them is the answer, alright?
Cheers, in my belly.
Now I'd like to keep that going if you feel you can. Just extend one leg out and having it hovered just above the floor. Now as you do this, naturally your body's going to drop, 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 drop. So what I want to focus on is definitely keeping up with the body. Place that leg back down and swap to the other side. How are your shoulders? Nice. Both feet back down again. Simply just stretch the arms overhead. And then we bring them back into place next to the body. Nice. This time, rather than the feet being down on the floor, we're going to have them raised slightly up in a tabletop position. Shin is still tucked up, the hands are flat facing the floor, get to your pulse. Now this is the least active that your kind of abdominals will be, because the knees are quite close to the body. So what I'd like you to do is move those legs a little further away from you. Dip them down slightly. See the difference? Yes. I can tell by some facial expressions that we found a difference there. I'm going to take one more shift down so those legs are going a little bit further away again. Eight, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet are flat, arms are right above your head.
Stay like that.
Yeah, never stay like this. That feels nice, right? Now, you might keep one of the options that I've already layered in, but if anybody's up for it, we're now here. Shin tucked, legs pushed, and pulse. Now if that doesn't work, we could be here, we could be here, we could be there. We could have go with one leg again and just keep swapping every now and then. And if you're up for it, I want to see the toes out and a straight leg. And the lower that the feet are, the harder that is, by the way. So you could have both, but they might just be a little bit higher. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down, arms overhead. So we're going to stay in this laid down position. One of your legs is going to slide down completely straight, while the other one becomes the working leg. We're simply going to draw big leg circles with them on the side. So the head can be completely relaxed this time, or if you wanted, you could take the yoga block, you could create a little pillow for yourself, whatever works through the neck and the head. The leg will be lifted, and we're going to keep it as straight as we can as you drop it out as wide as it will drop, scooch it across the floor, and then pull pull it up straight through the midline of the body again. I'm going to prop my head just because it's easy for me to see what's going on with you, but by all means have it flat down. Now think about the pelvis position. What I don't want you to do on these big leg circles is rock yourself all the way onto that side. I'd still like the hip bones to stay facing the ceiling, especially on the leg that's on the floor. So this feels very much like a mobilising movement through the joint, rather than letting your hips rock side to side. Now because we've just done a lot of core activation as well, you might feel this through your abs, especially as you drop the leg out to the side. You're welcome. Bring on the 8-pack. We don't want a 6-pack anymore, do we? 8-pack. Now team, the next time you do that leg roll, when you get to the external part, so the widest point, can you keep it out there for me? And it's still very active. Choose whether you want a flex foot or a pointed toe, but I'd like you to keep it off the floor if you can. Continue the circle up and around, and when the leg gets to the top, we're going to swap. So bring the other one up, and let that one relax down. Choose a flex or a pointed foot, whichever works best for you, as you take the leg all the way out on the outside and back round. Now I've got a leg that behaves and one that doesn't behave as much. You might be the same. Yeah, I feel more stable on one side, like I don't roll as much. Please tell me that other people can feel it in the core as well.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Especially after the hip as well.
Yeah. Well, give me one more full one. And then next time you get onto this one, as you get to the external position, hold it out. Remember, I want you to hover it above the floor. Flex foot or pointed toe, I'm not bothered, as long as that leg is active. Shakes are good. See a few little shakes in the room, that's all right. Finish the circle, up and over. Nice. And this time bringing both knees into the chest. Let's just give ourselves a little hug. Lovely. And then use that position to just rock yourself up to seated. Because before we go to the 2-leg version of that leg drop, which we are going to attempt today, I think we should work on a little bit of a hamstring stretch to help prepare us for that movement. So we're going to train the soak. So the reason it's called the soak is that we're going to do it in a sewing-based kind of movement. Feet are as wide as, or legs are as wide as you think you can get, but I want you to focus again now on your hip tilt. So in the beginning, we focused on point A, which tilted that way. That would be the least productive position for your hips to be in right now because you can't lift forward if you're tilted in A. B probably doesn't quite give you enough flexibility forward. So at this point, could you try and tilt to C and have your bum suck all the way out at the back? With the use of the breath then, you might find you can reach a little further forward. Just start with this spine stretch, just to test the waters on how the hamstrings react. And then if you come and roll up, we're going to take a diagonal reach. So this arm will reach right the way down to your toe, your little toe on this side. And then as you go to the other side, the back of the hand will reach down to the little toe. So that's the movement pattern itself. With a diagonal, you're going to reach it across. This time we chop it. So chopping, 3, 2, 1, come back to neutral, arms come out at the centre and chop to the other side. 3, 2, 1, arms out. Now I find the backhand really useful because it gives me like a little extra to push in and against to take the saw movement. 3, 2, 1, and out. And maybe with each of the 3, 2, 1, you go a little further. So maybe it's like like a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, and then back out. We're not worried if we don't get to the toes, we're not too worried. Good days and bad days.
Bad days and worse days.
Speak for yourself. Exactly.
Not really. Not that
Yeah.
stretched all the way.
Spot the person in the room. He just started running again. Spot that person in the room. Alright. Relax when we get into the middle. Legs come together. Just be aware that those hip flexors might just feel a little bit more alive than normal. And then think about where you are in relation to your neighbours, because we're going to be leg dropping side to side again. This time, at least an attempt to do both together. So before you lie down, if you just want to have a little look and then you know what it is that we're doing, legs up, they don't have to be perfectly straight like this. They could have a slight bend in them. Arms are out, and we're working a full scoop around. So the legs will drop all the way to one side. You'll lift and you'll scoop them, and you'll bring them back up the other side. We're going to keep the same direction for now, okay? So don't rotate and then keep swapping and keep swapping. So legs up to begin with. Nice. Choose whether you'd like to have passive in the upper body and have the neck relaxed, or whether you'd like to have that chin tuck. I'm going to go chin tuck only because I'm watching you all, okay? So don't feel like you always need to go for that option. And then pick a side to drop down and around. Nice. We'll be very aware of what the pelvis is doing. There's a little bit of a twist, isn't there? When you get to that side, and then it comes back to neutral through the middle, and then you have to shift it to the other side as you come round. Supposed to hurt everywhere.
You're supposed to keep breathing as well.
Oh, please. If we could do some attempts at breath would be good. It'll be easier for you to breathe in as you lift the legs up on that side. Breathe in there. It'll be easier then to exhale as the leg drops down and around. It'll be very hard, I think, to be controlling the weight of the legs and trying to breathe at the same time. So let's not make things more complicated than they need to be. Perfect. One more in that direction for me, just the one. I'm enjoying the noises, by the way. Sort of a sort of noise. I'm enjoying those.
Can't hear it creaking.
When you get into the middle, knees in, just let yourself have a little stretch. Alright, so we take the legs up. We know what we've got to do, yes? We're down on the other side. Be interesting if you've all naturally just picked your stronger side first. I'm not sure I've got one on this. And remember, if things really build, you simply take a smaller range. So you don't drop quite as low, you keep a little bend in the knee, and you scoop a smaller range of movement. It'd be great to see some of you scooping right the way past the floor. But if that's not for you today, we simply don't take that option. I think my legs have got heavier.
Small size of mine.
Nice, well done team, keep it going. Keep it going. One more. Come on. So when you get to the middle, knees in, give yourself a little well-earned hug. Alright, so we're coming to a side laying position now, for team. focusing in movement through the legs, which is the big focus of today. A lot of the stuff that we've been doing has been sort of activating and using the legs where we can. We're going to take a side kick movement, which involves laying on the side. Now, as we did this sort of earlier in the week, some people found that this sort of position worked. Some of them found that the hip bone seemed to press in a little bit too much. If that's the case, simply lengthen out, because then you've got a bit more of your weight through the whole side of the body. But basically what we're aiming for is both legs to be moving at the same time. So you're going to lift them and have them active, and then as one travels forward, the other's going back, and then vice versa. But here's what we need to be aware of. We can't have rolled all the way forward in the hips, and also I don't want you sitting back into your glutes like this, because we could do this for most of the day with very little effect. Okay. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? So what I'm looking for is hips stacked directly on top of each other for this one. Active and move. Doesn't matter again if we're pointing the toes or we're flexing the feet. Maybe do a little selection of both. It's more that I want the muscles active through the legs rather than passive, so we don't want little jelly feet. Try and do it with the arm up in the air, that front arm. Changes your centre of balance just a little, that, doesn't it? Makes you wobble, which is good. Then if you come to a stop point in that for me, both feet are together and both are lifted off the floor, and your top leg lifts and lowers. How are your obliques? Are they awake? If you needed to, that bottom foot could go back down onto the floor. You could create some sort of contact, and you could simply work the top leg. There's always an option to keep moving, alright? And then hold it up, and I just want you to freeze. A little gap between those feet, and both of them lifted off the floor. If you ever make a music album, Chris, that needs to be the cover picture. You've never looked more elegant or regal.
Thank you very much. Your patronising.
I think it's a strong look, I'm not going to lie. And then from here, a small circle with your top leg. Oh, we found it. Oh, yeah. Three, two, one, and then bring that top leg all the way forward and relax it down. That should feel quite nice. Let's give that a little stretch. This probably shouldn't be your album cover. Not this one. It's a very different sort of album. Should we go to the other side, everyone? Quickly moving away from that. We're going to go straight over onto the other side today. So, whichever position you did on the first time, whether you were kind of like really propped, whether you were laid down, just mirror that for me. Make sure you pick the same option on this side. Hips are nicely stacked, so there's one directly on top of the other. Both feet are lifted, and let's move. Legs at the same time. One travelling forward, one travelling back. Every single muscle in the side of my body squeezing to get this to work. But as with a lot of Pilates movements, they just simply don't look impressive. They don't look as hard, as complex as they actually are. finding that little sweet spot, but it is sort of a lot to do with like the shape of your pelvis itself as well. If you can, you're going to take that top arm up if you're not there already. It's as that top leg shifts forward for me, that's where the pressure seems to then be on the side of that hip. But hey, you've got hip bones! Hurrah! And then team, what I'd like to do, come into the middle and just simply hold, both feet hovered above the floor. Top leg, lift and lower. Have a little play around with your foot positions, team. Flex it, point it, relax it, roll it a little bit. See if you can, try and keep that bottom foot floated across the floor as well as the top one. And then holding that leg up. Little gap between the legs. Making sure those hips are directly stacked on top of each other and that you don't feel like you've opened out and rolled to the back. Keep them really stacked. And then draw a little circle for me with your top leg. This is where we get the ouchies. Woo. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax that leg forward. Oh. That one's really mean. Very mean but very effective. Alright, so we need to come back up to seated again for the next block. We're going to work a version of something that's called the crab, but don't worry, it's not what we would imagine that this movement is going to be. We need to sit back, and there's a couple of options. You might sit like this, or you might sit with your hands on your feet like this. It all depends on the flexibility. So if you can usually sit cross-legged and the knees are all the way out wide, you should be fine getting hold of the toes. But if you find a little bit stiff in the hips, you might prefer to kind of hold up here. All we're going to do is find that hold and stay in it for me to begin with. And then just make a little mental note, which leg is on top? Lift the legs out, and then as you bring them back together, swap to the other side. I definitely know, it's a very alien way for me to cross this second way. Lift out, and cross the first side again. Worst thing that can happen, you rock a little bit, you fall, you just reset, okay? So maybe surprised actually by how much you can actually keep those legs in the air. Maybe with a little shift side of that forward and back. I'm very impressed, some great balance, well done everyone. One more, or two more, depending on which leg you're currently on. Make sure you've done right, left, right, left, right, left, and stay even. Nice. Once that outward position, just hold it for me, as long as you're even. If not, make sure you do the other side. Put a little bend into the knee and just wait there. finish.
Christmas.
Nice. And then if you let yourself drop forward, and let's repeat that spine stretch that we've already done. So legs are out nice and wide. And making sure that we're in position C in the hips, so we're trying to push our bums all the way to the back if we can. But we take a little reach forward. Okay, team, one final working block. I'd like you to roll onto your backs for me. I love these shoulder bridges. You're going to see them a lot because they just feel like an absolute dream for your spine. Now, if you're used to doing glute bridges, you're used to lying on your back and then pushing your bum up and down. That's not what a shoulder bridge is. A shoulder bridge starts with the hip tilt, so you need to kind of be upward with the pelvis. That's like the first thing that lifts off the floor. So just a little bit of a pelvic tilt, and then imagine the strings on the front of your hips here, and you're being pulled one section of the spine at a time, up, 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 until you're sort of in that ski slope position on the top of the legs. Imagine little men skiing down like that. And the only thing that's touching is the heels and the shoulders. As you come back down then, rather than a glute bridge, which you would do this, and your back wouldn't touch the floor but your bum would, we're doing the opposite. You roll down so that every single section of the spine, one section at a time, drops, 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 drops. Your pelvis then is your final bit that touches, and then you go again. So I want you to find your own pace with these, but think about that pelvic tilt coming in first, and then unstacking the spine, one little section at a time. I'm going to advise that the head is relaxed down on the floor. If the shoulders feel a little tight, you can use the yoga block behind your head if that makes it comfier. And I want all the focus to be through that roll-up position in the spine. Actually visualise those little sections of the vertebrae. Tack, 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 tack. Unstacking, and then tack, 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 restacking back down again. And let's see if we can marry the breathing with this a little bit as well. Doesn't really matter where the inhale and the exhale goes, but marry some long breathing with this roll up and down. It's lovely, isn't it? Feels like somebody's like ironing you back out again. It's really, really nice. Perfect. And really try and bridge up as high as you can into that position for me. Whenever you get to the top of your next one, I want you to stay there. Just freeze at the top as high as you can. It won't feel fully static because the muscles don't work that way. So you might have to keep sort of re-bridging almost. Up as high as you can in that top position. Imagining that ski slope shape through the body. Nice, just up as high as you can, stay there. Still keeping those nice deep breaths going for me. And then really sort of gently and slowly, you're going to roll yourself back down to the mats again, reversing just like we've practiced. So dropping one little vertebrae at a time. Now leave one leg just relaxed out forward for me. Keep your eyes closed as you take this stretch. And lift one leg up and pull it all the way in towards your body. Some of you might have perfectly straight legs, some might have a little bend through the knee. As long as we're pulling up and taking a hamstring stretch, it's whatever it feels like for you, okay? Like I said, I'm going to advise that you keep these eyes closed now for these stretches. Keep that leg, take a hold with the opposite hand and see if you can diagonally pull it across the body. Just as far until you feel a little bit of tension through the leg. The other hand being out wide on the floor is quite helpful as a counterbalance. And then we're going to go ahead and swap legs. So let that one relax down. Pull the other one up straight for a hamstring stretch. Nice deep breath. Think about that lateral breathing pattern that we practiced right in the beginning. Swell the ribs and drop. And then taking the opposite arm across and see if you can give me that little diagonal pull. Nice. Swapping legs again. Pull one of the knees all the way into the chest and take hold of the foot underneath your ankle or maybe the bottom of the feet. Once you're there, you're going to try and push into the hand to extend the leg straight. That just hurt. Bend the knee back in again to release the hand and swap to the other side. So a really big knee driving to start with so that you can take the hands underneath. And then push into the hand, straighten the leg. Ish. And as you let that leg relax this time, let both legs stretch out in front of you. Hands out to the side and have your palms facing up towards the ceiling. Focus on that lateral breathing out and in. Let's just recenter, realign. Think about where your hips are. They might need a little shift. Definitely going to recommend you keep your eyes closed as you take these nice deep breaths in and out. Opening the eyes up, maybe a little rock through the feet, a little shift through the hands. And then just in your own time, you're going to bring yourself up to seated. Into whatever seated position this feels comfortable. We've been laid down quite a while, so I just don't want to transition to standing too quickly. How do we feel? Alright, yeah? Yeah, ready for a sneeze now? It's Sunday, do what you want. Do what you want, yeah. Thank you very much everyone, you did great. Great job. That was such a uniform clap. Finished. Nice.